Hi, I'm Crystal and welcome to TapTV. On this episode, we'll meet aviation legend Evelyn Johnson. We'll also visit the Tennessee Museum of Aviation and review recent aviation news. So sit back and enjoy this episode of TapTV. Today I'm here in Morristown, Tennessee, to talk to aviation legend Evelyn Johnson. Miss Evelyn has logged more than 57,000 hours, more than any other female pilot. She has given more FAA check rides than any other individual and has received many awards during her long career. Evelyn Stone was born in Corbin, Kentucky in 1909, the oldest of 3 children. Her father, a railroad conductor, relocated the family to Tennessee in 1914. Miss Evelyn graduated from Wesleyan College in 1929. She then enrolled in a graduate program at the University of Tennessee, where she met W.J. Bryan. The two were married in 1931. After Pearl Harbor, Mr. Bryan joined the Army Air Corps, leaving Miss Evelyn home to care for the couple's dry cleaning business. Miss Evelyn soon became bored and began looking for a hobby. What was it that made you want to become a pilot?
One Sunday morning, I got ready for church a little early, so I sat down on the couch and picked up the newspaper. On the front page of the newspaper, you never see any advertising, but there was some that day. About a 4-inch square at the bottom of the front page, there was an ad that just simply said, "Learn to fly." Well, that's for me. That's what I'll do.
So what was it like taking your first flight?
Well, it was great. I got next Sunday and took my first lesson. Got on a train in Jefferson City, went to Knoxville, got off, got on a city bus, rode out to the end of the line, got on a rowboat, got a ride across the river in a rowboat, and took my first lesson in the Piper Cub. It was love at first flight, and all these years later, it still is.
Miss Evelyn soloed on November 8, 1944. Within 3 years, she obtained her private and commercial pilot's licenses and became a certified flight instructor. She soloed her first student, Eveyln Woodbury, on the 4th of July, 1947. Always eager to try something new, Miss Evelyn soon learned to fly helicopters, becoming only the 20th woman to earn a helicopter license. She soon joined the Whirly Girls, an exclusive club consisting of women pilots who had earned a helicopter rating. Miss Evelyn has had many harrowing adventures in her long and distinguished flying career. Have you ever had to make an off-airport landing?
Yeah, I've had 2 engine failures and had to land just out in field. I've had 1 airplane swallow a valve, and I thought that was going to quit right there. But I just kept flying the plane and keeping it in the best shape I could. It was out in Texas. And I made it back 22 miles from the airport, and just as I touched down, it quit. So I was okay then. I had a fire in the engine one time and got back to the airport safely. Kind of funny, right after I landed and got off in the grass, got out and made sure I had the fire out all the way. An airplane landed and pulled in the grass, and he said, "What's your problem?" I told him. He said, "Well, you're fortunate. I'm your insurance man."
In 1958, Miss Evelyn became a witness to a tragic helicopter accident.
Came down in front of where I was standing with 2 little boys that had come to see the helicopter. And they went past, came down in front and turned right, and then turned right again and started climbing up. And suddenly I noticed the helicopter is in a bad shape. I grabbed the telephone, I called the operator. I told her to get an ambulance out to the airport quick because the helicopter had just crashed. By that time he had hit. Then I hung up the phone and took we had a big fire extinguisher. And I couldn't carry it, but I could drag it. So I drug it out there and laid it on the ground. Then I got down on the ground and crawled under the blade that was going around and hitting the ground, and was able to reach in and turn off the engine, and it quit going around hitting the ground. And then I entered the fire extinguisher on the engine and the transmission. They were beginning to burn. Got that over with, and then went to pay attention to the pilot and the passenger. The passenger was evidently dead. There was just 3 drops of blood on his nose, but you could tell he was dead. No movement, no sound, no nothing. But the pilot was pretty bad off, but he was in that, what you'd say, semi-conscious, and a moaning and going on. And I started trying to pull him out. It's a good thing I quit, because they say if you pull on somebody that's got a broken back, you could kill them. Finally, when the help came, it took 7 of us to get the pilot out, and so it's a good thing we didn't pull on him. But he lived 42 years more.
Miss Evelyn, how many flight hours do you have?
It's a 7,635 and 4/10.
My goodness, that's amazing.
And so Guinness says no woman has ever flown that much before, and I've flown more than any living pilot. No man
or woman's flown
that's living has. Now there's some that's dead. There's one, and it's kind of cute in a way. He was from Montgomery, Alabama. He'd worked for the state of Alabama, flying power line and things like that, inspections. And when they say down in Montgomery that his last words on this earth were, "Don't let that woman get more flying time than I've got."
How old were you when you took that last flight?
96.
96 years old. That's amazing.
I'm 101 now.
101. Well, you are an amazing woman.
I've had a good time.
Miss Evelyn is truly a legend, and we are honored that she granted us an interview. Now join the TapTV crew as we escape the studio and hit the road. Hello, I'm Crystal, and today we're at the Tennessee Museum of Aviation. Recently, TapTV paid a visit to the Warbird collection of the Tennessee Museum of Aviation in Pigeon Forge. The museum was founded in 2001 to educate the public as well as document and preserve the state's rich aviation history. The museum includes an exhibits gallery as well as a display hangar housing a number of rare piston and jet warbirds. Most of the aircraft are in flying condition, and flybys are common sights during the summer months. Today we'll take a quick look at some of the aircraft on display. Orville and Wilbur Wright created the first practical powered airplane in 1903. However, success did not come suddenly. The brothers spent several years building and flying gliders before attempting a powered craft. This is a replica of a Wright Brothers 1902 glider. It was built here at the museum by a group of volunteers. Jumping ahead to the end of the piston fighter era, we have the Douglas Skyraider. Developed too late for service in World War II, the Skyraider proved viable all the way up through the Vietnam era. This Douglas Skyraider saw service in Vietnam and was one of 4 rescued from Thailand. After the fall of Saigon, many Skyraiders previously operated by the South Vietnamese Air Force ended up in various locations throughout Southeast Asia, where they later made their way back to the States. The museum's Skyraider is one such example. Although developed around the same time as the Skyraider, the T-33 Shooting Star is a prime example of early jet technology, enjoying a long military career well into the 1980s. This Canadair T-33 was once owned by Star Trek actor Michael Dorn. Many T-33s still remain in civilian service. In April of 2010, a T-33 served as the chase plane for the first flight of the new Boeing 787 Dreamliner. The museum isn't just all about airplanes. Helicopters have a place too. The UH-34G helicopter remained a rugged workhorse for the U.S. Marines throughout the Vietnam campaign until eventually replaced by the UH-1 Huey. This Vietnam-era Sikorsky H-34 saw extensive combat service, as evidenced by the bullet holes and patches along the body. The UH-34G had a reputation for sustaining large amounts of battle damage, yet still returning their crews home safely. This example certainly illustrates that characteristic. The museum doesn't just have real war heroes on display, it has some Hollywood war heroes as well. This specially modified B-25 cockpit was used by Hollywood in movies such as In Harm's Way with Kirk Douglas and John Wayne. The Tennessee Museum of Aviation has something for everyone, from aviation movie memorabilia to aviation history to awesome warbirds and so much more. If your travels bring you to Eastern Tennessee, then be sure to check out the Tennessee Museum of Aviation. What a fun day. We all had such a great time. Now we go to Julie Christie for your TapTV News Update.
Hi, I'm Julie Christie with your TapTV News. On December 17, 2010, President Obama signed the Tax Relief, Unemployment Insurance, Reauthorization, and Job Creation Act of 2010 bill into law. The bill had cleared the House only a day before. This bill is important to everyone involved in aviation. It provides extensive depreciation benefits to aircraft consumers. It permits 100% depreciation of capital investments, engines, avionics, and many upgrades during 2011. In 2012, it will drop to 50%. Due to the longer lead times of general aviation aircraft, 100% depreciation will carry through 2012, dropping to 50% in 2013. General Aviation Manufacturers Association President and CEO Pete Bunce says the passage of this bill was critical to the recovery of the general aviation manufacturing industry. In international news, the Chinese government officially began a 5-year testing period for trial flights below 1,000 meters. These tests began in Haikou, the capital city of China's Hainan Island province. The flights began with 4 helicopters, flying without the requirement of seeking permission prior to takeoff. This first series of tests is limited to Haikou, and tests will continue through March. The Chinese government plans to continue opening areas over the next 5 years. At present, pilots must file flight plans well in advance, as approval can take a full week. These tests have brought much excitement to many villages. Many are already making plans to purchase aircraft. Currently, there are an estimated 1,000 general aviation aircraft in China. This will greatly broaden the market for general aviation products and services. The estimated market potential is near $150 billion. In other news, the NTSB has made several recommendations to the FAA regarding the installation and use of airbags in general aviation airplanes to provide greater protection to occupants. Although airbags have been mandated in the auto industry for many years, only recently have airbags been approved for use in airplanes. The board voted to adopt safety recommendations to reduce instances of accidental misuse of restraint systems, provide protection to occupants not within ideal body mass indexes, to expand the use of shoulder harnesses combined with lap belts to all general aviation aircraft, and to track data on airbag deployments. In other news, Cessna reports the largest number of jet deliveries in one quarter since 2008. They delivered 79 business jets in the fourth quarter, bringing year-end total to 179. Cessna expects to match or exceed this number in 2011. Scott Donnelly, chairman and CEO of Cessna's parent company Textron, says the most encouraging news in the quarter was the noticeable improvement in the demand for business jets as well as commercial helicopters. And that's your TapTV News.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of TapTV. Until next time, we wish you blue skies and happy landings.